Have you ever thought a simple vegetable, something you probably have in your kitchen right now, could quietly increase your risk of stroke overnight? It sounds dramatic, right? But stay with me because what I'm about to share might make you look at your dinner plate in a completely new way. We often talk about superfoods that heal, protect, and energize. But few people ever mention the foods that can do the opposite, the ones that slowly damage blood vessels, raise blood pressure, and silently load your body with the perfect conditions for a stroke. And one vegetable in particular, although considered healthy by many, hides a surprising dark side. Let's dive right in. Imagine you're finishing dinner, maybe some roasted veggies, a bit of salad, a dash of salt, nothing too fancy. You think you're doing your body a favor. But what if one of those vegetables is triggering a chain reaction inside your arteries? One that makes your blood thicker, your vessels tighter, and your risk of stroke soar while you sleep. Scary? It should be. Because this isn't a theory. It's based on real nutritional science and how your body responds to certain compounds. So, which vegetable are we talking about? Drum roll, please. It's celery, that crisp, innocent-looking green stick that everyone adds to salads, juices, or diet meals. Wait, celery? You're thinking, isn't celery good for you? Yes, and that's the tricky part. Celery is both a hero and a villain, depending on how and how much you eat it. Here's the thing. Celery is naturally high in sodium nitrates. These compounds are often praised for improving blood flow, but in excess, they can transform into nitrosamines, which are toxic to blood vessels and can raise oxidative stress inside your arteries. When that happens, your endothelial lining, the smooth inner layer of your blood vessels, becomes inflamed and stiff. And that stiffness is one of the earliest signs of stroke risk. It's like losing the flexibility of your arteries overnight. Now, before you toss your celery in the trash, hold on. The real danger comes not from a single stock, but from habitual overconsumption. Many people who switch to clean eating or detox diets drink celery juice daily, sometimes 500 milliliters or more, believing it's the secret to radiant skin or weight loss. What they don't realize is that this overexposure to nitrates can backfire, especially if they already have high blood pressure or poor kidney function. Here's what happens in your body. Nitrates from celery get converted into nitrites, and under certain conditions, like when your stomach acid is low or when you eat processed meats, those nitrites react with amines and form nitrosamines. These compounds promote oxidative damage, making your red blood cells less efficient at carrying oxygen. Your blood gets thicker, stickier. Combine that with dehydration or stress, and you've created the perfect storm for a stroke or mini-stroke. And the irony is many people think celery juice cleanses the blood. In reality, for some, it does the opposite. It can thicken it. That's why doctors warn people on blood-thinning medications or those with heart disease to be cautious with nitrate-rich vegetables like celery, spinach, and beetroot. Let's pause for a second. I'm not saying celery is evil. It's packed with vitamins, antioxidants, and fiber. But it's a classic example of how too much of a good thing can quietly turn dangerous. Nature is balanced. Our diets should be too. But celery isn't the only vegetable that raises stroke risk overnight. Let's talk about another one that hides under the healthy label. Pickled vegetables, especially those fermented with excessive salt. Think kimchi, sauerkraut, and pickled cucumbers. They're tasty, crunchy, full of probiotics. But here's the problem: sodium. A single serving of pickled vegetables can contain more sodium than your entire recommended daily allowance. High sodium causes your body to retain water, increasing the volume of blood flowing through your arteries. The result? Your blood pressure spikes. And when that pressure stays high, your arteries stiffen, micro tears form, and tiny clots start to develop. It's like rust building up inside an old pipe. You don't notice it until one day that pipe bursts. That's exactly what happens in a stroke. And here's the kicker. This can happen overnight. Studies have shown that people who consume salty dinners, especially late in the evening, experience significant spikes in nighttime blood pressure. During sleep, your body is supposed to rest and recover, but instead, your heart ends up working overtime. Over months or years, this pattern damages the arteries in your brain. So yes, those midnight snacks with pickled cucumbers or that healthy late-night celery juice could be sabotaging you while you sleep. Let's look at another silent culprit, spinach, the Popeye food. Spinach is rich in potassium, folate, and iron, all great for your body, but it's also high in oxalates, natural compounds that can form crystals in your kidneys. If you're dehydrated or have mild kidney issues, these oxalates can accumulate, raising your risk of kidney stones and calcium buildup in arteries, known as vascular calcification. That calcification hardens your arteries, increasing stroke and heart disease risk. Think about that. A vegetable we've been told all our lives is heart healthy can, under the wrong conditions, quietly stiffen those very arteries it's supposed to protect. Now, before this sounds like an anti-vegetable rant, it's not. Vegetables are essential, but our modern obsession with extremes, eating one type every day, juicing it endlessly, ignoring balance, is what turns nutrition into a threat. Let's talk science for a second. The human body thrives on variety. Our detox systems, the liver, kidneys, and lymphatic system, depend on diverse nutrients to function. When you overload one compound, like nitrates from celery or oxalates from spinach, you stress those systems. It's like running your car on one type of fuel nonstop. Eventually, the engine clogs. So the smarter move is rotate your greens. Mix your sources. Don't have celery juice every morning. Alternate with cucumber, kale, or herbs like parsley. Balance is the real superpower. Now, some people might ask, so what should I do if I've been drinking celery juice daily? The good news is your body is resilient. Within a week of reducing intake, your nitrate and nitrite levels can normalize. Supporting that recovery with hydration, vitamin C, and antioxidants from berries or citrus can help reduce oxidative stress. Let's take a quick look at why stroke happens in the first place, so you can see how these foods connect. A stroke occurs when blood flow to part of your brain is blocked or interrupted. That blockage usually comes from a clot, or less often, from a ruptured vessel. The biggest contributors? High blood pressure, inflammation, and thickened blood. And guess what? Those three things are directly influenced by what you eat before bed. So when we say this vegetable raises stroke risk overnight, it's not magic, it's chemistry. Eat high-sodium, nitrate-rich, or oxalate-heavy foods late at night, and you disrupt your vascular balance just when your body should be at peace. Now let's make this practical. Here are a few simple swaps that could literally protect your brain. Instead of celery juice every morning, try water with lemon and mint. It's hydrating and supports your liver without overloading nitrates. Replace pickled vegetables at dinner with fresh greens drizzled in olive oil. You'll still get flavor and antioxidants minus the sodium spike. If you love spinach, steam it rather than eat it raw. Cooking breaks down oxalates and makes the nutrients easier to absorb. And here's a surprising fact. People who include a mix of leafy greens, not just one kind, have up to 30% lower risk of stroke, according to long-term studies. It's not one miracle food, it's the balance of many that protects you. Now let's talk about timing too. Eating heavy, salty, or nitrate-dense foods right before bed puts your body in overdrive when it should be repairing. Try to have your last meal at least 3 hours before sleep. Give your heart time to rest. Here's a quick mental picture. Imagine your blood vessels as flexible garden hoses. When they're healthy, water or blood flows easily. But when you keep tightening the tap with sodium and thickening the water with nitrates, the pressure builds. Eventually, that hose can crack. And that crack, that sudden blockage, is the stroke. Still skeptical that celery or pickles could really have that much impact? Consider this. Studies from Harvard and the American Heart Association have consistently linked high sodium and nitrate intake to increased cardiovascular risk, particularly in people over 40 or with prehypertension. The effect is more pronounced at night when your blood pressure naturally dips, meaning any interference amplifies the damage. So what's the takeaway? Don't fear vegetables, understand them. Food isn't just calories, it's chemistry, emotion, and energy. Every bite either heals you or harms you, depending on balance and context. When you eat a rainbow of vegetables, some raw, some cooked, some fermented, you give your body tools to repair itself. But when you fixate on one trend like celery cleanses, you risk unbalancing that harmony. Now, if you're wondering, so what's the safest dinner plate to prevent stroke? Here's a simple rule. Half plate of mixed vegetables, a quarter plate of lean protein, and a quarter of whole grains with minimal salt and plenty of water. That alone can lower your risk of stroke by up to 80%, according to research.